feel like ain't seven. Put lines on through my ass. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven. This shit feel like ain't seven.
Welcome to the Money Down, the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel, #1 sports book. We have Rotowire fantasy football analyst James Cole kicking with us tonight, man. We'll talk a little bit of fantasy. We'll talk a little bit of fantasy football. We're gonna talk some regular ball too. We got NFL,
for sure.
NFL Week 4 currently underway right now. But before we jump into that, turn the page back to last week a little bit. We had some wild games going on. We had a couple blowouts. Yeah, had one goose egg, but
you doing shots?
I ain't say a word. I wasn't even gonna go there. I wasn't even gonna go there.
We had one goose egg. I mean, my team, we played terrible too. Patriots, we didn't play good. All our teams took an L this past weekend, so nobody got bragging rights.
Lies, baby.
Those
Mafia stand up, baby. Those Mafia stand up.
Ain't no way, bro. 2 blocked field goals, dog. Bro, I'm pissed.
It seemed like a lot of field goals was getting blocked.
Yeah. Don't matter
for sure.
Who was in the air?
Back to back extra points to win a game. Come on, dog.
It is. We'll start there first, man, because that was kind of the game of the week. Philly and the Rams, a big time game, came down to the wire as most people probably expected. Rematch from the playoffs last year. I'll let you chime in first, Warren. What's your thoughts on the game?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. It hurt my own team, blew my ticket, bro. I had a 16 parlay, bro, and my own team blew my ticket, bro.
No.
But you know what though? Like, I love the way we played. That's a winnable game, bro. Like,
yeah.
And obviously, hats off Philly being, defending champs, but that's a winnable game for us, bro. Like I told you, and I ain't trying to be biased, bro, but we have the pieces to get to the bowl. And I mean that. I'm not saying that just to be biased, but we do have the pieces. Obviously, we got to continue to mature on the defensive side of the ball. Offense starting a little bit slow in these first few games, but once we start firing, we start, getting more of those completions to DA. Obviously, Puka being top 5, in my opinion, is showing. But as we continue to start, as we pick up and start playing a lot better early, I think those games are going to be like no question, right? Again, Philly's a great team, really good defense, and I mean, great defensive plays by them. But we got to be better on special teams, bro. You got to have all 3 phases to win the game, all 4 phases to win the game, and that's what we talk about, right? But you got to have offense, defense, special teams.
You know what's crazy about Philadelphia right now? They got that devil magic right now that KC had last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somehow, some way, KC's winning every close game last year, and that's exactly how it's going for Philadelphia. I mean, shoot, week 2 they had 100 yards passing. They're winning that ball game. This past week, I mean, again, they should have absolutely lost to the LA Rams. I don't know how they didn't. Again, it's some of that crazy devil magic. What's going on? I don't know, but they're winning every close game.
I feel like at some point though, that does run out, right? Like same thing like you said last year with KC. It always works, but it runs out in the playoff time. My thing with the Rams is, and I don't want, obviously we're not GMs on here, but I think they're missing an experienced DB in that secondary.
1,000%.
And there's guys like Stephon Gilmore that's out there. There's other guys out there that you can bring in, and even if they don't give you the old them that they were, they still bring that veteran presence where they can kind of get you guys in that secondary to kind of understand how to play on the same page. Because I think it showed late in the second half, right?
That last draft.
AJ, if I'm not understanding, AJ didn't really make no noise in the first half. It was that second half where he really separated and he got back on track. So I just think moving forward with them, like you said, you continue to get DA in the rhythm. You can see that y'all throwing passes to him, even if you drop him, whatever the case may be, because you know that he's a rhythm guy. Once he gets going later in the year, he's gonna be unguardable. Pairing him with Puka, I just think they got to get that secondary in. I'm with you, Warren. I don't want to. I hate to admit it because we got to hear your mouth for the whole year.
Get on board, man. Hey, get on board, boy.
Yeah. I'll say that. How dangerous.
Hey, teams in y'all division, they not terrible now. So it ain't like 49ers. They look all right, even with Mac playing. Seahawks look pretty decent so far tonight. AZ's kind of being AZ for right now. We'll see if they ever get together. But I thought both teams were pretty impressive. Philly and the Rams, this past weekend. But those great teams, they just find a way to win regardless. Like Jalen Hurts could throw for 100 yards, they win. Friggin' Saquon could go for 200 yards, they win. A.J. Brown could get one catch, they win. You know what I'm saying? And I thought their defense would have took a little bit of a step back, but these dudes, they not giving up many points to start the year, even with some of these younger players stepping into these starting roles after losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, losing Darius Slay. They just continuously find guys to just plug in, and their defense is still really good. So, I mean, we all know Philly's going to be there towards the end, and we could end up seeing a rematch between those two teams at some point in NFC Championship. So, I thought it was an extremely impressive game between those two teams. I'm going to turn the page now. I'm going to got to talk about my Patriots from this past weekend, man. It was a rough one in Foxborough. I mean, for as ugly as the offense played, teams still had an opportunity to win that football game. Clearly, running backs got to be better. Dre got to hold on to the rock. Hunter Gibson hold on to the rock. Even Drake May, he got strip sacked of some sort. So too many turnovers as an offense. You turn the ball over 3-4 times a game, I mean, you almost probably 99% chance losing that football game. So I think I went into this year, I said it from the beginning, just have lower expectations. I know everybody, like with all the additions, which were great, I still said go in with a little bit lower expectations. Let's see how they play early on, and maybe they can get together towards the end of the year. And if they surpass our expectations, then great. Because you got a new coaching staff, you got Josh coming back in there. It takes time to get all that really meshed in. And I know Christian Gonzalez, he hasn't been healthy just yet. If he comes back, that will definitely help. And I think each week Stephon Diggs and Drake May will continue to build chemistry because there is weapons there. There is weapons there. And they just got to find a way for all those guys to click in one performance. Because with all that bad stuff that went on as an offense, we still had an opportunity. And I wish Pop would have just stepped and got the first down on that fourth down. That's like fundamental football right there. Is 4th and 2 or 3, catch the ball right there a yard short. Just fall backwards and you go get the first down. Instead, he tries to make a juke move and get stopped, right before the stick. So it's a learning process. A lot of good talent there, but they got to find a way to string it together.
Don't y'all feel like New England, though, is moving in the right direction? Like Mike Vrabel has them boys playing a lot tougher, than they were last year. I think the defense has taken a big step forward. And again, the most important thing is that the development of Drake May has continued, right? Like 75% completion rate, 268 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he had that turnover, but that's okay. I mean, this is what you want to see from a developing young quarterback. And I think Mike Vrabel has done a really good job kind of imprinting his personality onto that New England Patriots, unit on both sides of the football. They play a lot tougher. Hey, listen, Ramondre's got to hold on to that ball, man. Yeah. 2 more fumbles for him, and honestly, it might be curtains for him, bro. Like, it might be a situation where we see Travion Henderson moving forward.
He definitely got to hold on to the ball, 100%. I just think he's too good of a player. I know a lot of people don't think he's like a top tier back. To me, he is. Like
he is. He's good.
Yeah, he could do everything. I mean, he just has to hold on to the rock. I mean, he's done this for a couple years now. He knows it, and obviously Travion's a very good football player. Even Antonio Gibson's a very good football player. So if it happens again, then he might end up getting pushed back down that depth chart. So hopefully he tightens it up because I think they need to use all 3 backs. All those dudes are dynamic. I love what they did with them, against Miami. Just a couple weeks back when they're using 2 backs on the field, each guy catching screens, running routes, hand the ball to them. I think that could be a major part of their offense as long as, clearly we hold on to the football. But
I think the most frustrating part, and I won't say frustrating, like you said, you kind of went into it this year with the expectation of not thinking that to expect too much. But right. I just feel like this year being a down year with the AFC East, right? Like, I mean, the Dolphins – cheeks, right? Let's just call it what it is. Obviously,
that's why Ken gonna have something to say.
Obviously, Buffalo is Buffalo, but then the Jets are also. It just seemed like they in a race for the number 1 pick in the draft as well. So I just really wanted to see New England with the improvements they made on defense, but then the core guys they brought back on offense, adding Diggs. I wanted to see them, I guess, play much better ball right now because I feel like if they could somehow sneak their way into the playoffs, right, with Vrabel and kind of the philosophies that he's imprinting on that defense and on that team, I just thought they could have been a sleeper team. But you know what? Sometimes, like you said, James, you can't expect too much, and it does usually take a year or two for that culture to get embedded into that team. And maybe next year it'll probably be a better year. I mean, still a lot of ball left though.
I was gonna say, good sign though, because I mean, first 3 games of the season, you win one, obviously, last week or this past or 2 weeks last week, right?
2 weeks
you win
ago,
one
yeah.
last week, but you got 1-3 versus the Raiders and Steelers. Those aren't pushover games, right? You got 2 really good organizations, and to be able to be close, I mean, right there, 1 or 2 plays here and there. I mean, that's upside from last year, right? Again, not to crap on last year's team, but obviously they had their limitations with some handcuffs and things like that last year. So, I mean, this year it is a bit of improvement.
Can I ask y'all a question? How do y'all feel Aaron Rodgers has been playing? Because I'm seeing mixed reviews, right? Like, to me, I mean, 7 tuds. What is week 3? 7 tuds.
Yeah.
4 picks. He is throwing more interceptions than normal. Yeah. But for the offense that they have, and obviously the O-line can't protect him, I just want to hear more people's opinions on how he's been playing. Because I think he's been playing good, and I didn't expect much out of this offense anyway. So for him to be where he's at right now, I don't think it's bad.
I think he's been playing pretty well, but it's been up and down. Arthur Smith, I think the heavy play action plays into favor with what Aaron Rodgers gets done. And I think he needed that, And so just from a coordinator quarterback standpoint, I think it's a great fit. But they just don't have a lot of weapons. When Calvin Austin, hey, listen, no disrespect to Calvin Austin, but I'm just saying, if Calvin Austin is your number 2 wide receiver, you need a little bit more depth. You need a little bit more explosiveness. DK is still playing at a pretty high level, but even DK, I wouldn't say DK is this, dominant number 1. You know what I mean? Like, I think his better days are just slightly behind him. You know what I mean? He's still a dog, but he's just not like a takeover kind of guy anymore to me. So I think the weapons are a little bit lacking. Rodgers has been playing up and down, but dude, he's an old man. Golly. So I mean, 4 touchdowns week number 1 in a revenge game against the Jets, and it's been a little bit of a mixed bag in weeks 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think he's been playing fine. And as we saw with Tom's final year in Tampa, if you ain't got an offensive line in front of you that's going to protect, I mean, you really don't stand no chance, especially as an older quarterback. We know, probably 5 to 10 years ago, A-Rod, he can move in the pocket, get outside the pocket, make those throws. That's not necessarily what he wants to do with his current state of his career. So if that offensive line can sure things up just a little bit, we know he can get rid of the ball in 1 second. 1.5 seconds. Yeah. And if that run game could come alive too, I think that helps. You're so used to the Steelers being able to run the football. That's what Arthur Smith wants to do as an offensive coordinator anyway. So if ever at some point that gets going, I think that makes it easier. But we said it all off season. They need to make another splash trade or some type of signing at the receiver position. If this team wants to make it to the play, I mean, they typically make it to the playoffs. We'll see if they do it this year. But if they want to win a game in the playoffs, they got to get another receiver, in my opinion.
I think what gave Aaron Rodgers a lot of success early on was allowing Aaron to be Aaron, right? I think in this type of scheme with, like you said, Arthur Smith, I don't know if Aaron can be Aaron, right? I think he's handcuffed to what the scheme is, right? This is what Pittsburgh is. Try to establish a run game, pound the rock, and then play action off of it, right? I just don't know if, again, like you said, coach, player fit, cool, but I just don't know if you're going to get that big-time Aaron Rodgers that you're used to seeing at Pittsburgh. Again, like you said, doesn't have the weapons and whatnot, but even if, I mean, I just don't see – I don't see you getting the same Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing in the past.
No, definitely, man. All right, man. Last but not least, we got to talk about the Falcons, man. Toe said got to get his Panthers a shout out on the pod.
Hey, shout out Toe, man. Shout out Toe.
He said he got to give his Panthers some love. They went out. Hey, what's
going on? When I tell y'all boys, I tweeted right after the game. The Falcons are pathetic. Pathetic. that was the word, bro. Pathetic. 30-0 to the Panthers. Like. And during the game, I was trying to, you see, James, I was trying to jump on the LA bandwagon. I asked them boys, would they accept me? Them boys told me no, which is crazy. It's all good. But at the same time, man, bro, I don't know. Like, if you can't move the ball against Carolina, and don't get me wrong, obviously divisional game, Carolina always plays us tough. It just doesn't make sense to me. You play, week one you play a very good Tampa Bay Bucks team, and we will go to overtime with them,
right?
Or and then week two, I can't remember who we played week two, but we handled that, and then here it is, you're trying to get back into that 2-1 column and get things rolling white, and you a 30 ball to 0, and our offense is supposed to be this, this. I mean, I don't have no answers, bro. I'm in lost words, bro, because I can't understand how a 30 ball get put on us and we can't get nothing, no field goal, anything. So I don't know where we go from here. I mean, I don't want to. I've been seeing people say Kirk. I've been seeing people saying go back to Kirk. Kirk, but it's like I just think you got to let Mike sit through this, right? I think all quarterbacks go through a loss like this where it's tough and obviously you miss certain reads that are just obvious and you miss certain passes and you got to learn from it. But I think this week coming up against Washington is a very important one. If we don't see no improvements, we need to put Captain Kirk back in there.
The funny part for me, I didn't see that game, but when I was looking at the scores, I thought I was tripping. I'm like 30. Refresh. I'm like the Panthers, but hey, man, everybody get got every now and then. I mean, it's definitely a learning lesson for Michael Penix. I know he owned up to some of his mistakes that he made from missing open receivers or not throwing the open receivers from this past weekend. He's got to use it as motivation going forward because that offense is plenty talented. You can't be going out there getting blanked by the Panthers. And like I said, no shade to the Panthers.
Blank,
you can't go out there. And get blanked with Bijan Robinson in your backfield. You got Drake London, Mooney, all these dudes. Ain't no way you're supposed to get blanked. At least go out and get 3 points. You know what I mean? So it's tough, but I think y'all be straight going forward.
I don't think so.
The problem for me is I think Atlanta's obviously panicking, right? Like they fired their wide receivers coach. That's going to do nothing. They're bringing Zach Robinson down from the booth down to the field. Again, that's going to do nothing. But again, these are all like we're moving chairs along the Titanic. You know what I'm saying? Like for me though, guys, like this is what I don't get. The last 3 games of last season, Michael Penix was firing on all cylinders, right? This Falcons offense looked good. You got Bijan just, eating up space, man. We got Drake London just going for, 2 hundo spots in a game. You know what I mean? Like, it's going crazy. Like, the offense going crazy. But then what did they do? They changed the offense in this offseason. Like, I got strong opinions on this. Like, this is what I don't get. Like, those deep digs, where are those deep digs? We got no deep digs in Atlanta this year. They were spamming the hell out of deep digs in Atlanta last year. Like that's where Drake London was going crazy. He was eating all day because again, we got post routes, we got deep digs, we got these slant routes, we got all these in-breaking routes for Drake London, and you just can't stop a guy of that size who has a good cut inside, right? Like, and we don't have that in Atlanta right now. It's a bunch of comebacks and curls, and like I just don't understand why Zach Robinson, who is a Sean McVay disciple, Sean McVay spams the crap out of these deep digs. Why are we not running back that same offense in Atlanta in 2025? I don't understand.
I think though, perfect. I think, and we say it all the time, here on the pod, right? Coaches' nuts get tight too. And when it's pressure and you put in situations where, right, last year, could have made the playoffs, missed it by a game or two. I know when we took that loss to Washington, that kind of set us back. But here it is now. I think it's that time is, and not for our head coach Raheem Morrison, but I think for the guys around, that time is ticking for a lot of people. And also when you have the weapons that you do have, like the Bijan Robinsons, like the Drake Londons, like the Moonies, right?
Kyle Pitts.
Hey, Pitts, let's go.
I'm ticking for him as well. You hear all that chatter, and it's like I just think you put too much thought into it. But I didn't look at it like that, and I think you brought up a great point there. Where are the deep digs? And in my opinion, that's one of the toughest routes to cover in the league. Those 20-yard digs, because you can't touch receivers past 5 yards. And again, London is basically in my eyes a younger Mike Evans, right? Not there yet. I'm not comparing, but as far as size-wise, Mike Evans. And then we got to use Mooney, and he showed it when he was in Chicago, right? He's a one-on-one post double move nightmare. And here it is, we just not putting the combinations together for that stuff. So I don't know. I don't understand what's going on in Atlanta either. I tell you, they got maybe a week or two, and I'm switching my alliance.
Damn, just like that.
Hey, I can't deal with it no more, bro.
Just like that.
Heartbroken too much. Heartbroken way too much.
Stores practice open, so you can't go in and out. Can I flip along?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, but we'll turn the page, man. What's going on with the Baltimore Ravens, man? This team obviously came into the year thinking this. I mean, I thought these boys gonna come out firing, which they were firing in week one. They just let the game, kind of slip away against the Buffalo Bills, and they went out, won against the Cleveland Browns, and they just seem off kilter. Derrick Henry, he's off kilter, fumbling the ball every single week, very uncharacteristic from him. And then last week they suffer another tough loss against the Detroit Lions, a very good football team, but it just something seemed about defense. Defense definitely not hitting on all. So I thought this defense would have been, a top tier defense from the start. I mean, maybe they'll get to that at some point, but I don't know what's going on in Baltimore, but they got to get, some type of thing figured. There's way too much talent on that football team for them to be out here playing like this. And Lamar's been playing. He's been playing good enough for them to win football games. I will say he's been doing his part, but like everybody else, just feel like it just hasn't been good enough. What do y'all see what's going on with Baltimore?
You got it, James. Go ahead. I want to hear from you, my man.
Well, I would say this. Look, Baltimore, from a defensive standpoint, they have vastly underachieved. As you said, they've got a bunch of names in that defensive backfield. I mean, Kyle Hamilton's an all-world player, right? You got Marlon Humphreys, all-world player. What I just don't understand is how are they dead last? They are dead last in rush yards allowed to running backs. I mean, 32nd out of 32. Can't have it. You cannot be a John Harbaugh team and allow that defensively. And then on top of that, it's not as if they're a shutdown secondary either, despite having some shutdown secondary players. So I think defensively, look, it's easy to look at Derrick Henry and say, oh, he's fumbled in every single game. They've lost 2 games, close games. And if Derrick Henry holds on to the ball, they're winning. They could legitimately be 3-0 if Derrick Henry holds on to the rock. I get it. That being said, I think the offense is not the problem. Right now, the defense is the problem. And to be honest with you, if their defense played as well as some of the brand names they've got there, I don't even think it would come down to a Derrick Henry fumble, right, for them to lose that ball game. So I think most of the blame is on the defensive side, and that's a weird thing to say for a John Harbaugh team.
No pass, not generating no rush up front in the run game or the pass rush.
No.
And I think that's super, super important. I think you notice all these teams that, make deep playoff runs or win the Super Bowl, they all have a pass rush. And I think that's going to be the Achilles heel for the Ravens. If you can't rush the quarterback, I don't care if you got Deion Sanders, all these all-pro or whoever you got in your secondary, it all runs off that pass rush. And I just think right now that's the bad part about it, right? Like you pay all these guys too, which I know they made some, I know they brought some people in the secondary that we talked about. Obviously you paid Kyle Hamilton his big bag, which is well deserved. Right. I know they paid somebody in the middle too, of their line, as well.
Matt BK.
Yeah, Matt BK,
yeah,
right?
BK,
and it's just so everybody's getting their cheese and their money. They should be happy. You should be going out there making it. It just seems like it hasn't come together yet. But I don't want to panic yet because Buffalo, Super Bowl contending team,
right? And
Detroit. I think Detroit showed, right, like just the play calling. I love the little play where he flipped it to Amon St. Brown and then they pitched it like an option, little option. Like I just love to switch up a lot of good play calling and obviously the 2-headed monster backfield they got in the running back, in their backfield, and then as well as Jameson and J-Mo and Amar. Like it's gonna be a tough team to stop. Their brand of football is gonna be a tough team to stop. So I just think it's 2. I mean, if 2 losses is two really good Super Bowl contending teams early on in the year. Give them some time to figure it out, and then maybe week 10, if it's still going on, then I think it's time to hit that panic button for sure.
James, I gotta ask you how has, I know Derrick Henry did score a touchdown last week on their first drive. After that, it was pretty much shut down for him. How has his early season struggles affected some of his fantasy owners? Because I know he was probably top 5 pick probably across all leagues. Yeah. So a lot of people banking on his performance every single week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's a universal first-round pick. This is a legend. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, again, put together, multiple 2,000-yard seasons in his career, right? In terms of scrimmage yards, not rushing yards. But yeah, he's been incredible. And this guy's an alien. He's not of Earth, man. They're like, you can't be this big and that mobile. Like, that's just crazy. And been actually, to be honest with you, a pretty durable player too. The reason I wasn't high on Derrick Henry, though, this year is that, man, he got a lot of work last year, right? So over 385 touches. And basically there's kind of like an unsaid rule where, again, in fantasy circles, we call it the curse of 370. If you get more than 370 touches as a running back, generally the next year you're going to see either an increased injury risk or a huge efficiency drop off. And the efficiency drop off is absolutely for reals right now. For Derrick Henry. And as a matter of fact, there's been a pretty significant efficiency drop off for Saquon Barkley too. So I think those trends are kind of sort of holding up right now. But yeah, it's been obviously a disappointing start for Derrick Henry fantasy managers.
It's crazy, man. Like, before we get off the Ravens, man, they do have a big game this weekend again against the Kansas City Chiefs, a team who's they're trying to hit their stride as well. FanDuel has the Ravens as a 2.5-point favorite over KC. Do y'all think that's the right line? So should they be favored in this game against KC? KC came off a win against the Giants on Sunday Night Football, so it wasn't pretty, but they got the dub. So what y'all think about this?
Man, lock it.
Yeah,
Baltimore minus 2.5. Lock it.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I just think KC, bro. KC is slowly running out, bro. Like Andy Reid and Travis back arguing on the sidelines. It just don't look the same. And I think what made Kansas City so magical but these past couple of years is just the play calling, and it just seemed like people couldn't catch a beat on what Andy was doing and the versatility of how they were able to attack you. Right now, it just doesn't seem like they threaten you enough to be that team that can go down and score within a minute or score within, a couple plays. Now they really got to put together and string together 9 plays, 10-play drives, and the defense just isn't holding up to what it used to be able to stop teams. So I think, it's KC. I think they figure it out at some point this year. The division, their division, our team high, right? Chargers, like their division is looking pretty good. If they don't figure it out here real soon, I mean, it's gonna be fire in KC. Maybe in a week.
I just struggle with that because KC, they always play Lamar really good for whatever reason, no matter how they play everybody else.
Spags be dialing it up.
Yeah, Spags is on one.
He dials it up against Lamar. Lamar tends, not like completely struggle, but doesn't have like one of those games where he's just lighting it up across the board. I know week 1 was it last year where it came down to Isaiah Likely, his foot was like just out of bounds. He ended up making some good plays to get him back into it. But I think it's gonna be a good game. I think that line is probably perfect, to be honest. It's gonna come down to probably a 3-point football game either way. Whoever goes out there and wins that one on Sunday. I'm excited to watch it though, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say this about KC though? The aura is gone. Like that aura of invincibility, it's gone. Like people used to go into KC, and again, this is at Arrowhead, but people used to, I think, lose in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Like KC had this aura of invincibility. Like, man, we just can't beat these guys in a close game, right? And I think that is just gone now, right? And so I think people are looking to kind of sort of get their get back on KC after all these years of these like close games that they were losing, these calls, like all these referee calls that they seem to be getting over the last couple of years. Like all that stuff is gone now, boys. Like KC's just a team now. You know what I'm saying? It's not, oh my God, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, no, it's just, they're just a squad. How like the Bengals with Joe Burrow, they're just a squad. You know what I mean? Like, hey, they're a good team, but they're just a team. Like that's what KC is. KC's a good team, but they're just a team. And to be honest with you, like when people like, when you're saying like, oh, they might figure it out halfway through. I'm trying to figure out how they go about doing that, right? Like Kelsey is a much older player now. He just doesn't have that explosiveness. And guys, they got no one They do not have a dog in that wide receiver room that can get downfield. Like, as much as we used to clown MVS for the shaky hands, at the very least, you know this guy could get down the sideline and beat you over the top, right? So, like, they don't have that guy, and I don't see a guy like that on the horizon unless they make a shocking trade to go get Tyreek back.
No Rashee Rice? You don't think so?
He's not, I mean, like, I love him underneath, man, but that's all he does. Like, everything he does is underneath and after the catch. And we love him after the catch, but as we know, in the NFL, after the catch yardage is really, really hard to come by. So, and especially, again, like, he's going to be missing all these games. Like, is he going to be in game shape? Shoot, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so there's, I know reinforcements are coming. Xavier Worthy's coming back. Like, Rashee Rice is going to come back at some point. But they just don't have a guy that, in my opinion, I think can win consistently on a 9 or post.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think Philly beat that roar out of them last year.
Yeah, I think that ended up the Super Bowl.
And then Billy get it back since.
I do think when Rashee comes back, I do think it makes a difference, and when Xavier Worthy comes back, because Tyquan Thornton, he's starting to make some plays. I know he was a teammate of mine when I was in New England.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's the perfect system for him to go to. We know Andy Reid loves all that speed. So you get him, you get Xavier Worthy on the outside, and then you got Rashee Rice, doing what he does underneath, option routes, under routes, catching, breaking tackles. I think he just needs a go-to consistent receiver that can be reliable.
Right now, they don't Hollywood's solid. He's solid.
He's solid, but it's
but
not.
I think we talking about the offense. We need to address this deep. Like the defense don't look good in the same no more either, right? Yeah. So I think it's a lot. It's a lot that need to be fixed in KC, and it need to be done here expeditiously because the Chargers don't look like they stop at no time soon. And I think the Chargers got a pretty favorable schedule. I haven't really. I just know these next couple games. I know they're playing New York this week, right? Should be a dub. And it's gonna get too far behind, bro. Where to the point where we know that home field advantage is gonna play a big piece of whatever team has to come out of the AFC. You don't want to go to Buffalo in January because it's too cold for a lot of these teams. And then obviously, KC don't have that. Arrowhead don't have that same weight anymore that it used to hold, like James said.
But before we get into some people drop some questions in the chat. Before we get into that, man, is there anybody who's under the radar right now this weekend in fantasy that's due for a good performance based on the team they matching up against, or maybe they might get a little bit more targets? He trying to open up his app here.
Hey, you got to be ready, bro. Hey, don't hate the play.
He's on the roster already.
Hey, if he's not, he getting scooped.
Listen, I am the self-anointed sleeper king, okay? Because I love sleepers, man. I love these under the radar dudes to come through and kind of give you a good game, but. Listen, if you're not playing your Green Bay Packer wide receivers, I don't know what you're waiting for. You know what I mean? Like Romeo Doubs, if you've got him on your bench, fire him the hell up. Dallas has given up the most fantasy points per game to outside wide receivers by a large margin. They're absolutely atrocious on the outside right now. And they're just getting, just absolutely got by everybody. So I think Romeo Doubs, who does lead the team in routes run, has a really good chance. And I think if you're looking for a little bit of a deeper sleeper, I am really interested in Dontavian Wicks with Green Bay as well. Yeah. He has filled in and he's playing that slot role right now for Green Bay with Jaden Reed on IR. But that being said, he has inside-outside versatility, 65% inside snap rate, 35% outside snap rate. I think Dontavian Wicks is a really, really good separator. Can his hands catch up to the separation? I think that'll be important. That being said, he's playing less snaps. He's running less routes than everyone else in the wide receiver room, yet he leads the wide receivers in targets. That's how open he is getting, and that's how much Jordan Love trusts him. So those are two guys that I think, and especially Wicks, I think Wicks should be available in a lot of leagues, but Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, two guys that I'm definitely targeting as sleepers this week.
Oh, yeah. I got Romeo on my team. I ain't play him last week, but I saw that matchup against Dallas.
Fired up.
Yeah.
Fired up.
Tavion Wicks was in free agent.
Hey, let's scoop it up. All right, we'll hit some of these questions from the chat right here. We had somebody. Let's see. They put, should they trade? Okay. Should they trade CD for Jay Jettas in a pool PPR league?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Jettas is healthy. CD is hurt. CD, look, he's got that high ankle, and as you guys know, man, like I know he's going to try to play through it, but playing through a high ankle is so difficult. I think his production will be impacted for at least a month. And this is the part where it gets this is the part of the season where, man, you got to rack up wins right now. Like figuring out wins in week 12, it don't matter. Like you could already be out of the playoffs by then, right? So like go get your wins right now, go get your dubs right now. And if you need dubs right now, Jay Jettas is in a lot better spot than CD Lamb. Now, will that change like in weeks 8, 9, 10? Yeah, maybe. But you might already be out of the postseason by then, man. So like it really doesn't matter, right? So if I have CD and yeah, you can get Jettas, for sure, 100% you're making that move.
Yeah, I made that move too. I know Jay Jettas gonna get them targets from JJ McCarthy 100%. And like you said, that high ankle sprains, I don't have one of those. You're not moving the same with a high ankle sprain at the receiver position. Okay, so we got this one right here. What up, gents? I got offered Jamar Chase for Ibuka and Matthew Golden. Thoughts?
You got oh no, I would have
Look, I love Ibuka. I love Emeka Ibuka. I think he's playing extraordinarily well right now, but still he is the number 2, and Chris Godwin's coming back. Like, what does that look like when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are back? It's supposed to be a multi-week injury here for Mike Evans, so we'll see. But it's not like Mike Evans is gone for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. It might be 2, right? And once he's back with Chris Godwin coming back, like actually what does it look like for Emeka Ibuka? We've kind of sort of seen him in like this like 1B role opposite of Mike Evans. When he's actually the number 3 or hell, like a number 2 sharing that spot with Chris Godwin, I just don't know if the volume is going to be there. I love Baker. Baker's been playing out of his mind, man. But honestly, Jamar Chase is still going to see a ton of volume. I don't care if it's Jake Browning. Shoot, it could be me under center. I'm throwing him the rock 20 times. I don't care, right? Like, this is what we're doing, right? And when we're talking about fantasy football, skill does play a factor. But, volume is king. Volume is the number one, deciding factor as to whether or not a guy is productive from a statistical standpoint. And I think Jamar Chase will see more volume overall than Ibuka. And dude, come on, man. He is the more talented player than Ibuka as well.
Yeah.
Chase
going. Go ahead. You go ahead.
That's tough because I really like, I don't want to say hot take, but I really think Ibuka is number 2 there. Like this number 2 receiver there. Even with Chris Godwin coming back.
I agree with you.
I think it's going to take Godwin a little second to probably figure it out, especially coming off the type of injury he came off last year. It's all mental. It's probably going to be toying with him a little bit. He don't want to, repeat something like an injury like that again. And then also, we know hamstring injuries, right? It's one of those things, right? It linger, and if you don't let it heal all the way, that could be something that's going to be toying with you the whole year.
It's
so
true.
I think Baker's going to have to rely a little bit on Ibuka. That's why I think, this offer here is a little shaky because I do get it right in a fantasy league. Jamar Chase with the volume that he's going to receive, he's going to receive 10 plus targets a game.
Still.
Right.
I just wonder with the quarterback situation how that works out because they ain't look good last week at all. So it's all one of those in between.
I mean, they had on the week. They had Browning under quarterback the week before too, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
And he took and Jamar Chase still took off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
hey, and listen, like I don't want Bengals fans to like freak out, okay? Because like in week number 3, they had to take on Brian Flores in Minnesota's defense, and Brian Flores just does such a great job of masking coverages. And when you're a backup quarterback and you haven't seen a lot of different looks, you're going to get confused, right? Because especially against a Brian Flores defense, right? Where he might be showing, cover 0, but then he drops everyone back. He might be showing cover 1, then he drops into like a cover 2. Like it's just so difficult, so again, I just think don't freak out. It was a bad game last week for sure, but not everyone is Brian Flores. You know what I'm saying? Like better days are ahead for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Definitely not. Last but not least, we got this one right here. Trade accepted already. Got Genty and Ibuka for Bowers and Chase Brown.
Oh, you killed it. Yeah, you killed it.
He definitely killed that one.
There is no player, there's no running back in the NFL who has been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than Chase Brown. So if you're wondering why can't this guy take off, well, that's why right there. He's getting hit in the backfield more than any other running back in the NFL. We know the offensive line there in Cincinnati is not good. They've got a backup quarterback, so they do not respect the passing game. They're creeping safeties down into the box. He's looking at a lot of loaded boxes right now. I don't see that changing for Chase Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals. But again, that is also why I kind of sort of like Jamar Chase. Like, again, if you're going to show single high to Jamar Chase, at some point, he just needs to catch one. He just needs to catch one to make you pay, right? And in fantasy football, it could just be that one pass where he goes for 50 yards to the crib, and you're set in fantasy for that week. You know what I mean? So, but Chase Brown, like running backs, they need volume. Like they need to get, you're not going to break, very rarely are you going to break off like a 50-yard run. Like you need to, compile a lot of like 4-yard runs, 5-yard runs. And for Chase Brown, I just don't see that, not with that offensive line, not with this many safeties creeping into the box.
I mean, does that say for anything, with a poor performing offensive line right now, you got a unproven quarterback, like from check down purposes. I mean, he is also great out of the backfield.
He is. But then at the same time, like how many of those checkdowns are you going to really use?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm talking I get it. Like James White has made an entire career off of like catching the football. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong crowd right now. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that when you've got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, you got to feed these guys the rock. You know what I'm saying? So, like, at what point do you say, all right, man, like, we have to keep Chase in for pass protection purposes so that Jake Browning isn't the guy that's getting absolutely murdered in the backfield too? You know what I mean? So I think there will be a little bit of a cat and mouse game in regards to how they're going to utilize Chase Chase Brown, rather, in the pass game.
No, Chase is... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to go ahead, James. Finish off. My fault.
I'll say Chase, he's a very good pass catcher. I think he makes most of his impact in the screen game when it comes to the pass game. He catches the screen, he has the explosiveness, the speed, to take it the distance. I don't know how much they've used that, so far this year, and I don't know how much of their offense they rely upon their running back in the passing game. I haven't really seen that too much for Cincinnati. Maybe they change it, based on having Jay Browning. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get the ball off his hands a little bit quicker.
Right.
Hit Jamar Chase on slants, hit T. Higgins on slants versus trying to hold the ball and throw it down the field like they had with Joe Burrow. So maybe they have to switch things up, and that's how he makes more of an impact in the passing game, because he is a very, very good football player who's gotten better and better every year in the league.
I wanted to ask you guys, right, and you, specifically you, James, right? Do you see what the Colts is doing what they have going on in Indiana Jones, obviously JT? Do you see them continue to, even in the fantasy league and as far as with their schedule, do you see those two guys continue to be productive? Obviously, probably JT, but Jay Jones right now is just playing good ball. Do you guys continue to see them play as well as they are right now?
I do, and actually, I'd love to ask James White about this because, again, I hate RPO for running backs. Basically, you're asking a guy to basically create all the yardage on his own when we're talking about an RPO scheme, right? And yeah, I get it. They're still running a lot of RPO there in Indianapolis, but it's still more. JT's still seeing a lot more designed runs, right? And so I think that's been helping his production quite a bit as well. And the threat of the quarterback too. Again, Daniel Jones has been playing really, really good football, and he's playing more of a traditional quarterback role. So even though they have some RPO stuff built in, it's just to kind of sort of suck linebackers in just for a half second before he can, and give him a little extra half second to make a read and come off of his progressions, right? So, but just in a pure RPO scheme, like they had with Anthony Richardson, Jonathan Taylor played about as well as he could, last year, but man, those runs are not really like designed runs. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have a guard pulling over and just like wiping out a linebacker so that, you know, a running back can get into the hole. You don't have inside zone or outside zone where guys are flowing and a running back can make a read as to when to go make that cutback. In RPO, literally, it's just, okay, man to man, you got to go, and the running backs basically got to burrow forward for 3 or 4 yards, hopefully, and just make all the plays on his own. They are kind of, with Anthony Richardson out, Daniel Jones in, they don't need to do that as much, and I think that's why we're seeing JT really take off this year.
You know, he's having a heck of a start to the year, man. Some of these runs that he's ripped off the last couple of weeks, man. We've trained with JT, man. He's a special dude, and when you got a quarterback who can, you know, just spit the ball around just a little bit, we already know what he can do in the run game. So I think that makes the game so much simpler for Daniel Jones. I think this team, they could definitely be dangerous. I mean, nobody expected them to get off to this hot of a start. They got a tough matchup this week. We're playing week 4. They got a tough matchup. Like the Rams week 4, so they got a tough matchup. So we'll see what they're really about, you know, this week. But I'm excited. Should be a good football game, man.
Tough.
See what happens. Yeah. Should be a good one.
I ain't worried about it.
You ain't never worried about any game.
I think Philly showed something though. Attack the outside, and I mean, Indiana. You know, the Colts got some big weapons on the outside.
Pittman. Yeah, for sure.
Pittman
and Pierce big.
Pierce
He's a big receiver
even hooping a little bit. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Tyler
We'll
Warren,
we'll
bro.
see.
Tyler Warren's the truth. I love Tyler Warren. I love that what you talked about with the wide receivers though too. Like Kobe Durant is 5. I think he's like 5'10", $185. And they've got these 2 giants on the outside in Michael Pittman. And we're not 100% sure if Alec Pierce is going to play because he's going through the concussion protocol. But if he doesn't play, actually, again, Sleeper King special here. Like, I really like Adonai Mitchell in this matchup too. Because he's, again, 6'2", 210 pounds. Even if he's not open, he's open against somebody like Kobe Durant. Like Kobe Durant is fine in coverage, but again, because of the size, I think you can bully him physically a little bit.
Yeah. I like the matchups for Indianapolis, man. It should be a good one. I think that'd be a close football game. I know Warren thinks the Rams win every single game by 100 points, but that's not always the case, man. Not always the case. But James, we appreciate you taking the time out your night to kick it with us. We definitely have to get you back on with some fantasy insights. Man, it was a dope episode, man. So a lot of fans, you guys got your questions answered. So next time we get James back on, don't be scared to fire away in the chat. Get some advice for your trades or who to start, who to bench each and every week. You know, once again, we appreciate you, James. Everybody appreciate you tapping into the Money Down podcast on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep showing love.
I should have drafted JT over Bijan.
Over everybody.